find out that there are two parts to that epicranius muscle. There's what we call the frontal belly and the occipitalis belly. So this is the muscle right here. And so this bone, what do I call this bone right here? Frontal bone. So I'm going to call this belly the frontalis muscle, or the frontalis belly. If I turn this model over here, loosen up just a little bit. If I turn this model right here around in this manner, what's the bone underneath this region? Temporal. So what should I call that muscle? Temporalis muscle. If I turn this model around, what's this bone right here called? Occipital. So what should I call that muscle on top of it? Occipitalis. Isn't that nice? We already know these. So identify this muscle here. Occipitalis. If I come over to this region right here, identify this muscle right here. Temporalis. If I turn around this way, identify this muscle right here. Frontalis. And can everybody see this white structure on the top of the head? That is what we see there as the galea aponeurotica. An aponeurosis is just a flat tendon. Just like everybody is probably familiar with this tendon right here. What is this tendon right here called? The Achilles tendon. When you have a flat tendon, that's called an aponeurosis. So this is a flat tendon, and so that is called the galea aponeurotica. Okay. Then we've got the temporalis. Then if we look at, we already talked about that. If we look at this muscle, what do we call the region of the eye? Two words, orbital or ocular. Okay. So this muscle orbits around the ocular region. So we're going to call this orbicularis oculi. Let's compare it to this muscle right here that orbits around the lips. It's the one that we use when we kiss, right? When you kiss. So let's call that one the orbicularis oris. What was this one right here? Orbicularis what? Oculi. Everyone say it. I know the names already. Yeah. All right. Orbicularis oculi. Identify this muscle. Frontalis, the muscle right here. Temporalis in the back of my neck. Occipitalis, and the one around the eye. Orbicularis oculi. The one around the mouth. Orbicularis oris. Now, if I turn this to the side, I see this muscle right here that's going straight up and down, right in the buccal region, right in this, where you're going to use this muscle to chew. When you open and close your mouth. When we masticar, what does masticar mean? Chew. To chew. So we're going to call that muscle the masseter muscle. The masseter muscle. So that's our masseter muscle. And then we have this other muscle that is right here where our zygomatic bone is. So what are we going to call that? Zygomaticus. And what was this bone muscle right here? Frontalis. And this one? Orbicularis oculi. And this one? Orbicularis oris. And the chewing one? Right here. Where is it? Oh, over here on this side. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I see it right here. Right next to the salivary gland. Right here. Masseter. And this one on top of the cheekbone? Zygomaticus. All right. Great. So is that hard? Not too bad. Not too bad. Now we're going to look at this muscle. This is the muscle right here that is called the sternocleidomastoid. All one word. When you spell it on the practical exam next week, you're just going to break it down into three parts. Sterno, because it attaches to the sternum. Cleido, the clavicle. And mastoid, remember this process right here. Everybody feel it behind your ear. What is this called? Mastoid process. So sternocleidomastoid muscle. What kind of an action does it have? Yeah, it turns your head. It rotates the head sideways, forward, or down. This way right here. If I turn it this way right here, right, that's that atlas moving on the axis, right? No, I'm sorry, I don't want to go out. I want to go to open lab. Thank you, though. And then And then even just moving it up and down like this. Oh yes, I'd love to meet you at Open Lab. What time? Right? Okay, so we got that. So sternocleidomastoid. Then when we come to the back, we're going to look at two models in the back. We've got this one, and the reason that this one is nice to look at is you can see the superficial muscles on this side, but on this side, they took off the superficial muscles. This model, can everyone see this one, is only superficial. So if I look at this mini-me, right here, we call this the mini-me, this one, can everyone see this muscle that's shaped like a trapezoid, like a triangle, like a diamond, like a kite? That's called a trapezoid shape. We call that the trapezius muscle. What action does the trapezius take? Look, read it in parentheses there. All of them are there in parentheses.
Raises, retracts.
Shrugs the shoulders, hyperextends the head, right? All right, so the trapezius muscle. Then if we peel off that trapezius, like I've done on this side, can everyone see this muscle next to the spine that's running up and down? It's actually made up of 3 different muscles, but we call it all together, we call those the erector spiny muscles. Erector spiny muscles. Then, again, if we peel off the trapezius and we look on this side, we see these 2 muscles right here. This one, and can you see the smaller one? This one is called the rhomboid major. This one is called the rhomboid minor. Together, we just need to know their name. They're called the rhomboids. Rhomboids. Everybody say that. Rhomboids. Rhomboids. Okay, what kind of action do the rhomboids carry out? They retract the scapula, they square the shoulders, right? When you square your shoulders, this is squaring your shoulders like this, bringing them down like that so they're nice and square. All right? Then here on the back, in the dorsal region, we've got this big muscle right here. We only see half of it on this side. This is the latissimus dorsi. Here's the latissimus dorsi on the mini-me. So can everybody see this right here? And on the other side, latissimus dorsi. What's this muscle right here? The trapezius. What were these 2 muscles right here? Rhomboids. And the one straight up and down next to the spine is the mastoid. Can everybody touch their frontalis muscle? Your occipitalis muscle? Occipitalis. You know that one by now. Back of the head. Lower back of the head. Your temporalis muscle. Your zygomaticus muscle. Cheek. Your masseter muscle. Right. Your sternocleidomastoid muscle. Coming across like this. Your trapezius, your latissimus dorsi, right here. If I strip off the latissimus dorsi right here, rhomboids. What about straight up and down next to my spine?
Erectors.
The erector spiny muscles. The erector spiny. Excellent. Okay. Then, if we continue down, now we're going to look at these muscles right here of the thoracic region. Everybody touch your thoracic region. Okay, good. Your thoracic region.